there's a lot of fucking crazy in the world, and you know, I'll be damned if it's in my power to ever let that crazy cross my doorstep or cross the path of me and my family. Hey guys, welcome back to PoleArms. This is Doug. Tonight we're going to do we're going to take a little departure from my typical review videos or how-to videos, and we're going to tackle a topic that I've been curious about for a little while now, and that is why do you carry? Why do you carry? It might be a really simple answer, simple story. You might have grown up with guns, and you just as soon as you were old enough, if you live in a state that allows it, you just automatically went down, got your permit. If it's a permit issuing state, started carrying, didn't think anything of it. No grand tale involved, and that's okay. That's your reason for why you started to carry. But is there anybody out there that has a story, has a real kind of path to why they started carrying a firearm? So yeah, I'm putting it out there. That's how I'm going to start the video, and that's the whole point of the video. Is I'm going to get into my reason, talk about my path, my journey to carrying a firearm, concealed carrying a firearm. But I want you to, hopefully I would like for you to listen, to my story, my reason for carrying. But I want to hear about yours. I really do. I want you to, either through comments, below on YouTube, or I'll give you information for my my Instagram. If you want to, send me a short, I think the cap is a minute, short minute-long video. There, and tell me why you started to carry. I also have a Facebook page, so you can send me a text. You can write out your reason, or send me a short video. I'm not really sure what the limitations are. I don't know if you can. I'm relatively new to YouTube. I don't think you can send me a video reply in the comments, anything like that. I'm pretty sure that on Instagram that's what it's all about. I'm pretty sure you can send me a short video there. But in any of those media, I want to hear your reasons. Whether it's again typed out or shot on video. I want to hear your reasons for it. So I'll flash all that information, all my different social media pages and ways to get a hold of me. I'll flash those up on the screen. But yeah, I do want to hear from you. So my reason for carrying, just it was kind of a long path. I really didn't start actually carrying a gun until about 7 years ago, really more like 6 years ago. Always grew up in I grew up in a house full of guns. My dad always had guns. Hunter, just a gun enthusiast. He was the kind of guy that always had a gun in every room, tucked away somewhere in a room, in a drawer, up on a shelf, under a bed, You know, different times. I know there's still people that do that now. Not responsible, guys. Quick PSA from PoleArms. If you have guns in your house, you have kids in your house, make sure your guns are secure. Don't be stupid. Don't be irresponsible. I'm sure that if you're like me, you consider guns tools of their protection, of their defense. Don't let those guns turn into tools of their destruction, their end. But anyway, my dad didn't. He had all kinds of gun cabinets and gun safes, but he definitely had guns unsecured all throughout the house. Now, from a very young age, I learned about gun safety. He told me the basics, the basic laws of gun safety from a very early age. But that didn't stop me from being curious. I was a kid. I was a little kid. I would go and look under his bed or in his nightstand drawer, and pick up the gun and hold it, and kind of point it. I knew enough not to look down the barrel, and or never pointed at anybody, my brother or anybody else. And nobody was ever. It was always just me whenever I went and checked out my father's guns. So never pointed at myself, always kind of pointed in the direction, but just kind of held it and was kind of amazed and in awe of this thing that I'd always heard about. So again, no matter how soon you talk to your kids about guns and gun safety, kids are curious, and they're gonna get into it. They may or may not, depends on the kid, I guess. But I did, and luckily, thank God, nothing bad ever happened because of it. But grew up with guns. Again, grew up with gun safety. My father would take me out shooting, teach me how to handle a gun safely. Again, went over the rules of gun safety with me. So I was always around guns. I was comfortable with guns. Knew about gun safety, but never really owned one of my own. Grew up, went away to college. Never had a gun. Never thought about getting a gun. Never thought I needed one. I just wasn't even growing up with all those guns in my house as a kid. And throughout high school, I never thought I needed one for myself. I always had a baseball bat or an oak dowel rod, a big thick oak dowel rod wrapped in electrical tape handle by my bed. That was my idea of home security and personal defense. That's all I ever needed. Then when I was, out of college in the workforce, I was probably 20. Geez, how old was I when I was probably 27 or so? I decided to drive across country, kind of wanted to quit my job and go and interview out in California. I live in Kentucky. It's where I wasn't born here, but this is where I was pretty much raised. It's where I was living at the time. Quit my job, decided to drive across country. Drove through the Southwest out to San Diego. So my dad gave me my first gun. He gave me an old Colt police issue revolver, 38, to take with me on my trip. No permit, no nothing. Just here's a gun, here's some ammo. So I took that with me on my trip, and then when I came back, kept the gun and just kind of put it away in a drawer. Didn't really even think about keeping it by a bedside or having a lockbox for it or anything like that. Just kind of put it in a drawer. It was something that was given to me, and I had it. Still didn't really think I needed a gun or necessarily wanted a gun for self-defense or home security, anything like that. Um, Fast forward a couple years, I meet my uh, now wife. Met her, started dating, eventually moved in with her. Lived in a converted old house down in the hood. Not the best area. Not the best area. Even then, still didn't really feel like I needed a gun. I still had that revolver my dad gave me, but it was just kind of an afterthought. It was in a drawer, and I think actually at the time, it started out where we were living in different places, and I think the gun stayed at my place in my room. I was staying with some friends across town, and I think it stayed there until we officially moved in together. Then I brought it with me, so it was again in that dresser drawer, kind of forgotten about. And I think my car got broken into a couple times on the street, and the house again was a converted old house, so it had a common area. You walk through the front door, and there was kind of like a little foyer, and it was a glass front door, probably a 12 pane, gridded glass door. Somebody busted out one of the panes of glass around the deadbolt area. Nobody actually got in, but maybe they got spooked. I don't know, but I think they were trying to get in, and that kind of changed my thinking. So I decided I wanted a gun for our defense, me and my girlfriend, now wife. So I went out and bought a Remington 870, shorter barrel, kind of home security model, 12 gauge shotgun. Still have it to this day upstairs. It's had a lot more bells and whistles added to it since that first purchase. But that was my first gun. So then I had a shotgun in the corner by the bed for a long time, and that was really my my first intentional, self-defense home security gun that I bought, and it was the first gun I ever bought myself that wasn't given to me. So for years and years, that was it. And I never thought, I kind of toyed with the idea, not very seriously, but over the years about getting another pistol for home security. A nightstand gun, something that wasn't the pump. But never did. And then you fast forward to my girlfriend and I got married 2009. And then 2 years later had my little girl in 2011. Okay, she was born in 2011. So if you have kids, you know this to be true. But if you don't have kids, let me enlighten you that it is a paradigm shift. It is a mind-altering event. You become a daddy or a parent. You become a mama, whatever. You become a parent, and I don't know. Instinct kicks in, whatever you want to call it. Your monkey brain, your lizard brain, whatever takes over, and it's unless you're a rare breed that doesn't feel this way, you find that you love something more than you ever knew you could. This thing is a part of you. It's half you. That's nothing you don't know how to. It's a unique and special experience, and so it alters you. It changes your thinking. You want to defend this little thing, with your life, tooth and nail. But even then, I didn't. My wife and I found our way back to. We had moved into some nicer areas over the years prior to this, but just so happened to find our way back into another hood house. This place was kind of more of a transitional place. The area was being gentrified a little bit. Some hipsters were kind of coming in and buying out or buying up properties and turning them into hipster bars and coffee shops and stuff. But then you'd still have gangbangers and hookers walking up and down the street. Not our street, luckily, but one or two streets down. You hear gunshots and have shootings on either side, and not the safest place, but that's where we found ourselves at the time when we had our little girl. So yeah, again, not living in a great area, but even then, well, I had the shotgun, had the Remington 870. The Colt was really just kind of collecting dust and rust in the drawer, kind of forgotten about. But more and more, as I was, sitting in that recliner, holding my little girl, feeding her. My wife was a nurse, is a nurse, but at the time she was a night shift nurse, and so she was gone overnight quite a bit. And it was just me and my little baby girl, in that recliner with the bottle and the blanket and the TV remote, and I would just kind of post up and I just let her sleep in my arms. Now I know, not the safest thing either. But I guess I was new and felt wrongly, I guess, or thought wrongly that my arms were the safest place, not laying flat on her back in a crib like we know they're supposed to be at that age. But anyway, so that's what we do. We just kind of post up in that recliner, she be in my arms. And I started thinking more about getting, as her first year went on, started thinking more about getting a little revolver or something, another revolver, not the old rusted Colt that my dad gave me, but getting another gun or semi-auto, something for that little side table. So if some nutbag kicked in the door when I was sitting there with my little girl, I wouldn't be in trouble. So I started thinking about it, but still never really acted on it. And then, now we're getting into the meat of the story, the real why of why I carry, why I started carrying and still do. About a year plus passed. December 14th, 2012. Adam Lanza walked into the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, and as you know, killed 26 people, 20 of which were kids. So when I came home from work, and that was all over the news, and I've got my little girl there that just turned a year old, just a couple months before. Sorry, I am actually legitimately getting a little choked up thinking about it, because it hit me like a sledgehammer. That was having her what was a paradigm shift, and coming home from work to see the live coverage of that school shooting, that was another one. That was another paradigm shift. That tapped into my already altered new daddy mind, and and tweaked it, turned it up to 11. Completely changed my way of thinking, and I decided Probably not that first day, but in the 2 to 3 days that followed of constant coverage of that school shooting. In those next few days, yeah, my mind was completely changed. I had never thought up to that point that I would ever be a guy that got a concealed carry permit, that carried a gun. That was alien to me. Growing up with guns, being comfortable with guns, having a gun or two in the house for home defense and to defend my family at home. That's about as far as I thought about it. I never thought I was going to be a guy that carried a gun. I thought maybe I would get a concealed carry permit so that I could travel with the gun, through reciprocity states, travel with the gun concealed. But never in a million years thought I was going to be a guy that carried a gun. And then Sandy Hook happened, and I did a 180, a serious 180, and that changed my thinking completely. So yeah, I pretty much immediately went out and took the CCW class at my local gun shop. Bought my first gun, went down to another gun shop, local gun shop, bought my first gun and started carrying, and haven't stopped carrying since that day. Completely changed my thinking on it. Definitely a believer in it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And there's a lot of fucking crazy in the world. And I'll be damned if it's in my power to ever let that crazy cross my doorstep or cross the path of me and my family. Without being met with some with deadly force, with some fierce deadly daddy force, or husband force, as the case may be. So that's it. That's it, guys. That's my story. That's why I carry. Why do you carry? Let me know. I'm curious. I want to know. So, comment below. It can be a few words or a dissertation. For all I care, but I'm curious. I want to hear it. I want to read it. Send me a video if you can. Again, I don't know on this platform if you can do that. I'm thinking not. Check me out on Instagram. So again, you can send me a message there or send me a video there. My Instagram is PoleArms, and I'll put it up on the screen here, PoleArms13, all lowercase. My Facebook is just like my YouTube channel, PoleArms, capital P, capital A, all one word together. Let me know, guys. Let me know your stories. I'm curious. I am. Thank you for listening. Hopefully some of you stayed watching till the end. I can't blame you if you didn't. A little long-winded, but that's okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for staying with me. If you liked it, if you like this topic, please like me below. Subscribe, guys. I don't usually do this kind of thing. It's more how-to videos and reviews of guns and gear, things like that. But I've got a couple other things like this in mind. So, if you're interested in that kind of thing, subscribe, come on back, check me out, PoleArms. Like me below, and like I said, get back to me on any of these platforms, and Let me know your story. Why do you carry? Thanks, guys. Bye.